Hey everybody, it's Chris from Retzone. So in a previous video I took 2 attempts to mod a GameCube. So I figured, since it was still fresh in my mind, that I would try and make a sort of a guide to mod your GameCube. So I'm going to do this in parts. So this is the mod chip. This is the XenoGC. There is also another version of this called the Zen 8 GC, which is an open source chip. I don't have one of those, just one of these, and my intent is to get one of these to work, which is the SD2, God, I can never get the name of this thing right, SD2PS2? SD2SP2. Yeah, sorry. This one came from AliExpress. This one came from AliExpress as well. If I have issues with this one, I have a different one. Well, it's the same chip, but it's a different source. So we're going to start by taking the case off of these. And if you haven't done one of these before, they are like a layer cake, and there are lots of screws. And the first time you do this, it will be a bit complicated. So I'm just going to put this piece of paper down here so I don't scratch the glossy top. So you will need a game bit screwdriver. You can get these on Amazon or your local retro gaming store. They're just about everywhere. Also, you do need a GameCube that has this serial port. If you don't have the serial port, I mean, you can still boot the Swiss disk with the mod chip, and then you can run stuff off of a disk, or if you have one of those GameCube to SD adapters that go into the memory card slots, you can do that as well. But to use, oops, I'm going to throw it around. If you want to use this, you need this serial port. So I have another GameCube, a black one. It doesn't have this. So I guess those were the later ones that they use for cost cutting. So we'll just take these screws out here. It comes apart easy. So now you got those 4 screws out of the bottom. The top of this case will just slide off. I'll just move this back out of the way here. You just lift gently and it just comes right off like that. So I'm just going to put this over here. So now the next part is you have to pull off the front faceplate, which is really simple. You just gently lift up and forward a little bit. There is a ribbon cable on the other side. You can I just let it hang like that. It's all good. The piece on the back here with the ports, this just comes off really easy, just like that. So I'll just put that over here. So now this is a whole structure here that you have to take off. There are screws hiding underneath here. I always forget about them. They always screw me over. So best to start with these. So you just take this screw off here. Whoops, butterfingers. Okay, so after you remove these 2 screws here, this whole structure comes out here. This has your power connector and your power switch. You can just let these dangle here. There are 3 screws underneath here that are hidden. I always forget about them. These 3 screws off. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 across the back here. Okay, now you think you're done? You're not. So there's 4 more screws. You'll need a precision screwdriver to do it. So the screws we need to take off. Sorry if the angle's no good. These 4 screws here and these little RF shields for the memory card come off. So you just lift these off like so. Okay, and now we can get at the first layer. So now you can just grab this and gently lift, and this whole thing will come off. I'm just going to put you over here. So now you take this And you have to remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more screws here. These are tiny screws, so you'll need a precision screwdriver to do that. Okay, now with all the screws removed, you just pull away this RF shield. I'll just put that over here. And now we can access the back of the board. Okay, so the area that we're going to focus on is right here. Now it's time to heat up the soldering iron and we'll get soldering. So these chips are actually designed to solder directly onto the board using these really neat contact points here. But I don't like doing that, so I'm going to use some tiny little wires. So I'm going to put some wires on the board and I'm going to route them to the mod chips. So, okay, welcome to part 2. I'm going to start soldering some wires on here. Unfortunately, I don't have the camera set up where I can actually show you this. I will throw some images on the screen so you can follow along here. So, the first wire I'm going to be doing is the wire marked PWR for power. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of solder on the board here. Just need ever so little. Okay, that's one wire done. The next wire I'm going to do is marked D. This one already has a bit of solder on it, so I'll give it a try. Now we'll tin up the ground pad here. Okay, ground wire is attached. Just gotta do a quick check with the multimeter to make sure I didn't bridge those pads. Nope, I did not bridge those pads. Okay. Had to be sure. Okay, so the next wire I will be doing is the C wire. Okay, that's good. And the final wire. The A wire. Okay. What I like to do is I like to take a little bit of two-sided tape, and stick it to the board. Of all the two-sided tapes I've used over the years, I've found that this Gorilla Tape is the best. My only complaint is getting the backing off. And okay, that actually came off really easy. Okay. So I'm going to stick you right here. So I'm just sticking the mod chip to the board here. I'm going to tin up the connections here. Okay. Okay, so we're going to start with A. Actually, no, I'm going to do this backwards. I'm going to work my way. I'm going to go with P. So this is P. D. Then I'm going to do G. What's next? A, B, and C. Okay, I may have to get a longer wire. Yeah, that's not going to reach. That's B. B goes here. Okay, so what goes in there? C goes there. Okay, so I just have to get a longer wire here for. You were too short. Okay, so I have another wire here. Perfect. Okay, now I just got to trim this. Perfect. Perfect. Ooh, I don't like the way that's not sticking. Let's do this a little bit more here. Okay, so A is bottom, B is top. A is bottom, B is top. Okay, I don't like the way this is going on here. Okay, that should be it. No, I don't like that. I need to redo that a little bit. Just need to touch this up just a little bit. There we go. That is much nicer. Okay. That concludes soldering here. So now we have to test and see if this works now. Okay, I've partially assembled the GameCube now, and we'll do a little test. So we're just going to test a legitimate game here and make sure that the laser can read that. Doesn't seem like it's reading the disc. Might have to increase the power to the laser slightly. Okay, we'll give it one more try here. Okay, so this time it works. So it probably needs just a slight tweak to the laser power. Okay, let's try the Swiss boot disc I have here. The mod chip is blinking red and then going to orange, which means it's functioning normally. Okay, didn't like that boot disk. Did. Okay, let's try this one. No, I can hear it. It can't focus on the disc. Okay, so we're back on the bench here. It read the legitimate disc, but it did not read the burnt disc. So we're going to have to increase the laser power. So I'm going to grab my multimeter here, and we're going to do a reading of what it's currently set to. Now, the lowest you can go with these is 150 ohms. If you go any lower than that, you risk burning out the laser. So I'm just going to grab a pen here, and I'm going to make note of what we're starting with here. So on the other GameCube that I modded previously, it started at 249, and I had to get it down to 181 for it to read the burnt disc. So what you want to do is, and I'll put a bigger picture of this up here because this is like the tiniest thing ever. So on the left side of the potentiometer is one pad, and on the right side are two. So you want to go between the left and the bottom right. So I need my glasses here because I'm blind. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so this one's actually set to 219. So I'm going to write down 219 and a no. So now this potentiometer or variable resistor is very sensitive. So when you turn it, you want to be turning it like 0.25 of a millimeter. Like the tiniest amount is so sensitive. So I'm going to give it a twist here. Just the tiniest little tweak, and I'm going to see, I want to see if I can get it to around 200 or 190. So now I'm going to okay, so we're down to 181. I want to increase it just a little bit. Okay, that might have been too much. I might be back to where I started. Okay, so I'm above where I started. Okay, like I said, this is so finicky. Okay, let's try that. Let's see if I can get it to... Okay, so we're back to where we started. Okay, so I'm going to try and give this the slightest little... like that. Problem is it's hard to tell when it's actually turning or not. 166. Okay, that is way too low. I don't want to go that far yet. Okay, let's try that. $238. Okay, I barely touched it and we're at $238. Jeez. Okay, we're at 197. Okay, I'll take that. 197. So I'm going to write down 197. And then we will try it on the TV. Okay, so we're back at the TV here. Let's fire up and see what we get. I had to bring the ohms down to 152, which is the absolute lowest I'm going to go. So I don't want to burn this laser out, so fingers crossed. I don't like the noises it's making. No, it gave up. Okay, one more try. No, I don't think it's gonna work. No, okay, we'll give it 3 strikes. And we'll try the next boot disk. No, I don't think, nope. Well, that's bummer. All right, let's try this one. It could be a bad boot disk, I don't know. Oh, okay, well, we got, there we go. Well, at least one of these boot disks work. Okay, well, I guess it was a partial read. Well, I guess that's the best this is gonna get. I just wish this one would work. I'm getting the arm cramp from holding this thing. No, it doesn't like this disc. Okay, this could be a bum disc. Okay, I'll pop my adapter in here and we'll see what we get. Okay, so I've got my SD card adapter and my working boot disk in here. And this hilarious aftermarket controller, which is garbage. I don't even know where I got this from. It feels horrible. Anyway, let's just fire up one of these games here. And there we have it. we have a modded GameCube. Sorry about the shaky video, but I'm just doing this with my my left hand. Boom. There we go. These games have the best intros ever. I wonder what happened to old Factor 5. Okay, so there we have it. We have a fully modded GameCube. It looks like one of my boot discs is not good. I may try taking it down to 140 to see if it can read that disc, because I did get it to read once, but just once. And I do believe it did read in Ramon's GameCube that I modded in the previous video. Alright, so now that we have a fully modded GameCube, now we have to do the final assembly. So, we just have to basically reverse the steps here and spill all the screws, because that's how I roll. Okay, so we're going to take this RF shield and we're going to attach it to the back of the optical drive using these tiny little screws here. Okay, so now we're on to the bigger screws. So now we're just going to gently put you here, click it in. So on this side here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then one around the corner here. So what I recommend is when you put this on, this overhangs the back here a little bit, so I would put this screw in first because I've been burnt so many times. Whoops, wrong screwdriver. I've been burnt so many times by this that I end up taking it apart twice. So I don't make that mistake again. Then we'll put in these 3 middle screws here because they are covered by the fan housing. There is some promise of rain today. I hope we get it because we have hardly had any rain. Okay, so now that I got those 3 screws, we can do these 2 screws here. Okay, now we got 1, 2, 3 across the back here. And then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Okay, so now we have those screwed in. Now we need to use a little screwdriver and get these RF shields on here. Okay, here's the other RF shield. Okay, now we got the RF shields installed. Okay, so now we just take this front panel here now, and we hinge it forward. Just be gentle, snap in. I don't know if you noticed this or not. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there is a button cell here. So I'm not sure what happens when this dies. I'm not even sure if mine's active or not. I haven't heard of any of them dying. I guess the GameCube is too relatively new. Now where is my rear panel? Here is my rear panel. Just slot that in nicely there. Helps if you put it the right way, of course. Derp. That goes there. And now I have to figure out where I put the shell. Here it is. So now at this point, you can do a sanity check, hook it up, make sure that it works properly before you do the final assembly. I'm going to trust myself, even though I probably know that that's a mistake. I'm just going to use this little bit of paper here so I don't scratch up my GameCube on top. And then we'll just do the final assembly here. And there we have it, the final assembly of our modded GameCube. Alright. I hope this was helpful. There is probably a more detailed teardown on ifixit.com. I unfortunately don't have the setup to be able to do top-down views. I will try and figure something out for future modding if I do any. I want to thank everybody for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more content, and we'll see you in the next video. See ya.